This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Jeff Cutastrophe. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, November the 12th, is a player who is playing for the Denver Nuggets right now, but he has played for 5 other teams. He was a legend with Oklahoma City, and then was traded to Houston, then to Washington, then to LA for the Lakers, then to Utah, then the Clippers. So he would have been one of the best players to play for one team, but then practically he's been passed around like a used Kleenex. Anyway, he's now 36 years old. His name is Russell Westbrook, coming from Long Beach, California. Anyway, Westbrook had a best friend by the name of Kelsey Bars III. They had hopes to go to UCLA and play together for the Bruins. And Bars had some college scholarship offers. However, he died of a large heart during a pickup game in May 2004. Westbrook seemed more determined to excel in honor of his best friend's memory. He always wears a KB3 wristband in honor of his best friend, no matter what happens. So anyway, he entered high school as a 5'8" point guard and weighed 140 pounds, but he did have size 14 feet. But he grew to 6'3" by his senior season in high school. He had a lot of attention. So, well, if it wasn't for his growth spurt to 6'3", colleges would not have been interested in him. He didn't really have much attention. Fortunately, though, UCLA saw coming and all that. So, anyway, Westbrook got to UCLA and wore number 0 as probably a way to say that, he has 0 to lose, if you will. So he was a freshman in 2007. He played backup point guard to Darren Collison and was just a defender off the bench. He would train extensively in the weight room and the gym for his sophomore season. Collison got injured. Westbrook was named the starter and was named All Pac-10 third team. Westbrook spent 2 years with UCLA, and the funny thing is, the Bruins got to the Final Four in both seasons. In 2007, they got to the Final Four, but lost to Florida 76-66. And then in 2008, they lost the Final Four match to Memphis. Well, Florida won the championship. Memphis did not. And it was actually a good thing Memphis didn't, because Memphis had scandal. Regardless, Westbrook decided to forego his final 2 years and enter the 2008 NBA draft. And so he was ready to go. He would be picked 4th. Derrick Rose went to Chicago from the University of Memphis. Michael Beasley went to Miami from K-State. And O.J. Mayo went to Minnesota. Well, at first to Minnesota. And then his rights were traded in Memphis for Kevin Love's thing. Memphis drafted K-Love but traded him to Minnesota. Westbrook went 4th to Seattle. The only problem was that Seattle was on their way to Oklahoma City. So Westbrook was drafted by the Seattle Sonics but played for the Oklahoma City Thunder. That was kind of funny. But he signed for the team and got a triple-double, becoming the first rookie since Chris Paul to record a triple-double. He did quite well in his rookie season. Strangely enough, he would only finish 4th in Rookie of the Year voting. In his second season, he was named full-time starter, and he put up 16 points per game. And OKC qualified for the playoffs, winning 50 games, but lost the first round to the Lakers. Westbrook would put up 20 points per game in that series. In 2010, he looked decent. He got to the 2011 All-Star game as a reserve and got to be All-NBA second team. In 2011, the Thunder won 55 games but lost the Western Final to Dallas. So that's it. And then you got to the 2012 All-Star game and got Oklahoma City to the finals, which was the first time that the Thunder played, that the franchise played as the Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals. They were known, of course, as the Seattle Sonics. But Miami would win that title for LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, their big three. Westbrook did score 43 points in Game 4, losing. He was selected for the All-Star game in 2013, got Oklahoma City to be the #1 seed in the West, and they would face Houston in the first round. Unfortunately, though, the good times would stop as Patrick Beverley collided with him in an attempt to steal the ball, and Westbrook injured his right knee. He would have a slight tear in his meniscus and was out for the rest of the playoffs. Fortunately, though, OKC wasn't shocked by the 8th seed and beat them in 6 games, but the second round they lost to Memphis. They lost their momentum. He would have to have a second surgery on his right knee and would actually only miss the first 2 games of action. But then again, December 26th, he would be out with arthroscopic surgery on his right knee and would be out till the All-Star break. Fortunately for Westbrook, OKC was competitive because of Kevin Durant having to step up. And I believe 2014 was that the season he won the MVP and thanked his mom saying, "You're the real MVP"? I think so. Regardless of that, OKC won 59 games, were the second seed in the West. Got to the conference finals against the Spurs. And Westbrook looked pretty good, but the team lost to the Spurs in 6, who beat Miami for the title. He would miss 14 games, Westbrook would, in the 2014-15 season because of a small fracture of a metacarpal in his right hand. Westbrook came back, and they returned to playoff contention and all that. Westbrook would be the All-Star MVP for the 2015 game. I believe that wasn't in Toronto. That was in like Los Angeles, was it? It was at New York City, Madison Square Garden. Okay. Oklahoma City won 45 games. Unfortunately, they missed out on the playoffs. That's something hard pressed. Because normally in the West, if you're 9th place, you've won more games than one of the playoff teams in the East. That's a joke. Westbrook started his first All-Star game in 2016. That was in Toronto, and was named All-Star Game MVP. Becoming the first player in All-Star Game history to win back-to-back MVPs. Not even MJ did that. Regardless of that, he had a lot of triple doubles and all that. Oklahoma City would get to the Western Finals again, facing the Golden State Warriors, and were up 3-1 after 2 wins on home turf. So it looked like OKC was going to shock the 73-win Warriors. Somehow, in some way, they choked, and Golden State won the conference final. But in a bit of irony, the Warriors also blew a 3-1 series lead the next time, and that was the final against Cleveland, which saw Cleveland finally win their title for LeBron. Boo hiss. Durant left in the offseason to Golden State. Well, if you can't beat him, join him. A lot of people say Westbrook was on his way out too. But Westbrook signed a 3-year contract extension with the Thunder, so he was the focal point. He was putting up triple doubles like there was no tomorrow. His 42nd triple double of the year, which broke Oscar Robertson's record for a single season, actually happened on my birthday, April the 9th. And happened when OKC beat Denver 106-105. Westbrook actually hit a 36-foot game-winning buzzer beater to win the game, making him, alongside Oscar Robertson, one of 2 players in NBA history to average a triple-double for a season. Practically meaning he averaged more than 10 points per game, 10 plus assists per game, and 10 plus rebounds per game. That's what you do for triple-double. OKC would become the 6th seed, though, in the playoffs. They got taken out in 5 by Houston. He had 46 points in Game 5. It was named MVP in 2017. In fact, he was the first MVP from a team that scored less than 50 wins since Moses Malone in 1982. Really? Yep, that's happened. Westbrook would sign a 5-year contract extension with the Thunder in 2017 and would start from 2019 to 2023. Westbrook did his job. He got, in March 2018 against the Hawks, he became the 4th player to get 100 triple-doubles in NBA history, joining Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, and Jason Kidd. OKC clinched a spot in the playoffs, went to the first round, and shockingly lost to the Utah Jazz. Westbrook would have to go through a procedure with inflammation in his right knee. And he looked pretty good. In a triple-double against New Orleans in February 2019, he became the scoring leader in franchise history, surpassing Gary Payton. Remember, this team started in Seattle. So anyway, and in April, he scored 20 points, 20 rebounds, and 21 assists in a win against the Lakers, making him the second player to do that. Get a triple-double, points, rebounds, and assists by scoring 20 in each thing. Shockingly, Oklahoma City would trade Westbrook at the end of the season to Houston for Chris Paul, 2 first-round picks, and 2 first-round swaps. So Westbrook would be reunited with James Harden. And it was just amazing to see those two and all that. So anyway, in his second game as a Rocket, he became second all-time in career triple-doubles, passing Magic Johnson, and only Oscar Robertson was behind him. Westbrook made his return to Oklahoma City January 9, 2020 as a visitor, scoring 34 points in a loss. Anyway, Westbrook would test positive for COVID-19 in July 2020, recovering. Unfortunately, he would be injured and all that. And the Rockets lost to the Lakers in the conference semifinals. Of course, there were rumors about Harden and Westbrook being unhappy when out of the Rockets. Westbrook was then traded to Washington for John Wall, who had been a lifelong Washington Wizards icon, and a 2023 first-round pick. In 2021, he missed the All-Star game for the first time since 2014. And it looked pretty good and all that. So the funny thing was, Westbrook, when he had his 16th triple-double as a member of the Wizards, actually broke the franchise record for career triple-doubles. It was just one season. Daryl Skywalker was the guy who had that record. And, future coach of the Raptors. Regardless of that, when he scored 28 points, 13 rebounds, and 21 assists against the Hawks, that was his 182nd career triple-double, passing Oscar Robertson for that mark. The Wizards got the 8th seed for the 2021 playoffs, but lost in 5 games to the Sixers. And then once again, Westbrook at the end of the season was traded. He was traded this time to the Lakers for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, and a couple of nobodies. It was weird how Westbrook was traded for the third time at the end of the season. The Lakers were his 4th team in 3 years. He didn't have any good play and all that. Westbrook was criticized for his poor quality play through the first half of the 21-22 season. Westbrook practically said they only look at his stats sheet, not his play on the court. So anyway, this was the first in 2022. That was with the Lakers. It was the first time Westbrook missed the playoffs in 7 years. Of course, Frank Vogel would be fired from being the Lakers head coach and all that. Yeah. Anyway, Darvin Ham said that Westbrook still had a ton in his tank. Westbrook opted into his final year of contract for $47 million, meaning he still was a Laker. And for the first time in 4 seasons, the offseason didn't make him change addresses. Anyway, Westbrook would have to come in off the bench as a 6th man in a sense, because Patrick Beverley and Dennis Schroeder were picked up by the Lakers. But anyway, well, he came off the bench and had 4 triple-doubles, which actually is the record for most triple-doubles off the bench in NBA history. He became 10th in assists that year, surpassing Gary Payton, former Sonic. But then February 9th, 2023, he was traded to Utah in a 3-team trade, which involved Minnesota as well. He was not doing that well, but I think they wanted him to get some time on the court. But the Jazz didn't keep him. They reached a contract buyout agreement. So he never played for the Jazz. A couple of days later, the Clippers decided to sign Westbrook, probably as a big FU to the Lakers organization. Westbrook was a starter overnight and looked rejuvenated after joining the Clippers. The Clippers got to the playoffs thanks to Westbrook's play, but got felled by the Suns in 5 games. Nevertheless, the Clippers did re-sign him to a 2-year deal in 2023. And the Clippers picked up James Harden too, which reunited him with Westbrook for the third time. Westbrook actually requested to come off the bench. And then he got his 25,000th point, making him the 25th player to do so. Anyway, he had some issues as the Clippers fell to the Mavericks in the playoffs, and then he was traded July 2024, just a few months ago, back to the Jazz for Chris Dunn. It was a sign and trade, but then he was waived a couple days later and signed with the Nuggets. So that was just amazing. Westbrook helped the U.S. win the 2010 World Championships, even though that it was basically relying on a small lineup and not really on big men. He helped the U.S. win the 2012 Summer Olympics in London, so that's big. So yeah, 6'4", 200 pounds, pretty impressive and all that. A lot of people say that, he was being uncooperative. People tend to agree. But anyway, with Oklahoma City, Houston, Washington, LA, Lakers, and Clippers, his stats up to the 23-24 season. Well, of course, Denver, his stats are not shown on my thing because the season's ongoing. He played 1,162 games, 21.7 points per game, 8.1 assists, 7.1 rebounds per game. In the playoffs, he had some great runs with Oklahoma City, but he's only played in 24 playoff games since 2019, leaving Oklahoma City. But still, he has 23.6 points per game, so that's pretty good. Spent only 2 years with UCLA in college. MVP in 2017, 9-time All-Star, 2-time All-Star Game MVP, 15 and 16, 2-time scoring champion in 2015-2017, part of the 75th anniversary team in the NBA. He and his wife have 3 children, and he does quite well with everything else. He's so confident. Anyway, I'm Jeff. I'm going to do.